welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Your Retirement Coach. I'm your coach behind the clipboard, Nic Yeomans. Glad to be with you. And as always, my partner in crime, Randy Yeomans, always watching over me. This guy, I can't escape him. Today, we're going to have an awesome conversation in what we're calling a client success series. And so working with a lot of people over the years, we've identified some people that just communicate so wonderfully about their experience of, living their life, living it fully with purpose. And then what does it look like, that new adventure into retirement? Today, we're going to have an awesome conversation with some friends and clients, John and Melanie McGriff. You're going to want to stick around.
All right, grab your favorite mug. It's time for Coffee with Your Retirement Coach.
John and Melanie, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to have a great conversation today.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so happy you asked us to be with you.
Yeah. So what's really exciting is we've been working together for almost a decade.
It's amazing.
Long time.
Decade sounds so much bigger than 10 years, right? Like
Really?
a decade. But we've had so much fun working together and seeing the transition pre-retirement to retirement, how your life has evolved and changed. And I think our audience is really in store for a great conversation. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It's great.
So why don't we start with some of the basics, right? So how long have you guys been married? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, Mel and I have been married 17 years. Prior to that, I had been married 29 years, and my first wife passed away after a 2-year illness. During that time, we started a Bible study in my home. And months after Beth had passed away, this Bible study was continuing, and Mel was invited to come to it by one of her best friends, and she showed up. And as time went on, I noticed one evening looking across the room that she sure was cute.
That out.
And I wasn't looking to get married, but it just God intervened and had other plans. And I asked her out for a glass of wine, hoping for nothing more than just a good conversation. And one thing led to another. We continued this Bible study. She continued to come. And it just progressed.
Yeah.
You might fill in the gap.
No, I mean, that's exactly right. During that summer, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and my childhood friend, my mother had passed away, and so that was in the fall, and my childhood friend had invited me to come to the Tuesday night worship. And I don't even think that we talked for the first couple times, but a couple months rolled by, and as he said, he asked me out for a glass of wine, and then it was history after that. It was good.
And look what God's done.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
No, it was
Yes.
it was not planned on either of our parts. So it's been great.
So from a career background, John, what did you do for a living?
So for 17 years, I owned Exxon stations and Amoco stations, and we did a lot of auto repair. So it was a full-service gas station. Did that for 17 years and had an opportunity to sell the business to my business partner and went into the ministry. Went to work at North Metro Church as their executive pastor and was on staff for 5 years and was there right up until my wife passed away. I stepped away right prior to her passing away so I could take care of her. And after that, after she passed away, I took a year off just to kind of regroup and figure out what was going on. Went back to North Metro for a couple of years in an interim position. And for the past 11 years, I've been with a company out of Houston, Texas called Boiler Management. We provide boiler systems for multifamily.
Yeah, man. You've had quite the journey, right?
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. And it's one that I never thought I would be on, but it's also one I wouldn't trade. It's just been really good.
Awesome.
God's good.
He is. And Melanie, walk us through your career path.
Yes, I am a registered nurse, and all of my background was in ICU nursing. For about 25 years, I did bedside nursing. I was able to raise my children doing that. Night shift, PRN, just having the flexibility was wonderful. And then I had a season in my life where I needed to go back to work full time, and an opportunity came up to go into nursing leadership. So I ended up managing a 20-bed ICU unit, and then through the years went into different leadership roles with physician practices. And then I ended my career after 7 years as an executive leader for clinical operations in the hospital. And it was at Piedmont Healthcare. I was there for 30 years and then ended my retirement after 45 years of nursing. So really great opportunities that were put in front of me that have just been great from a professional standpoint.
Yeah. Well, and I know you, Melanie, as so many other people we've worked with and so many people in our audience, one of the challenges that sometimes we face is, do we want to give it up? Are we ready to retire? And I know that was a little bit of your story. Could you expand upon that?
Ooh, I could. Yeah, for all those years, just taking care of others, and especially the last couple years where I was working with a team that I absolutely loved, driving a long way, 40 miles one way to the hospital, and just couldn't imagine just putting the brakes on that. So that part was hard. And one thing that I did realize when I did retire, how much that was my identity. And it was hard to leave that because that's who I was, especially when I went back to work full time. So that part was really difficult, and it's taken probably currently up to this year to realize that that's not what my identity was. And once I realized that, retirement became a little bit easier.
Yeah. Well, and now we've got the transition phase of both of you guys being around each other a lot more often, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to take a step back. I want to ask you kind of a unique question. A friend of mine started asking this in some content creation, and I thought it was such, you're supposed to borrow brilliance. I thought this was a great question. So, John, we're going to start with you. What is your first money memory?
I was probably 8 years old. My dad had bought a 500-acre farm in Henry County as an investment. It had 2,000 peach trees on it. And he thought it would be a good idea for me to go pick peaches, put them in a wheelbarrow, and go door to door selling them. And I did. And I think I made like $18 on one Saturday. Yeah.
That's a lot of money for back then.
And I love that you were selling peaches in the peach state.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. So that's my first memory, really.
That's a great memory. Yeah. Melanie, do you remember your first money memory?
I sure do, babysitting. And I made 25 cents an hour. And I think I worked my way up through high school at 50 cents an hour. So it was, I didn't get paid for chores around the house. It was expected. So I became a babysitter, and it was great. Loved it. I think that takes me back to my first taking care of everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's crazy.
So one of the things that I often think about as somebody, is getting ready to retire, and we think about baby boomers, there's really a few different categories that people can fit in, and nobody wants to be put in a box, but you've got the sick and tireds out there. You've got the comfortably contents, but you guys, I think, fit and really exemplify one of my favorite categories, which is the Ageless Explorer.
Like that.
Right?
I love it.
I mean, I think that guy, that's you. And so one of the things I started thinking about, you guys have been all over the place, around the world, maybe not all the way around, but you've been to a lot of places. So if you could share, because many people in our audience, they're travelers, they're adventurers. What's one place, if you could only go back to one place, what would that place be?
Wow. Probably Jackson, Wyoming. The Tetons, and it's absolutely spectacular. It's just God's creation. This beauty at its best. Great hikes, great fly fish. We love to fly fish.
Yeah.
So just great fly fishing, great people, great food. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm going to go ahead and let you know I was not expecting you to say that, because y'all have been everywhere. But what does that really say about the beauty and grandeur of the United States, right?
And
Well, let me give you one other. Then the Dolomites in northeastern Italy. That is spectacular also. So one in the country, one out of the country.
Right. But I say the Tetons because it really offers everything that we love. And it's close to Yellowstone, the wildlife, the temperatures, everything. It's beautiful. And as he said, the fly fishing and hiking, which is part of our adventurous exploring part that we love doing now.
And she is a great fly fisher person.
Is there,
Fly fisher person. I mean,
hey, you know what? I accept that. And, I started, next time I go, I've only ever been fly fishing with a guide. And so, they help you tie on the flies and all
They're
that
the
kind of
best.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been spoiled, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
As we kind of think about this journey of retirement, one of the problems I see many people as they approach retirement is they are looking to retire from something, right? They're trying to get out from under the management, that they're not comfortable with anymore. The company has changed, the policies changed, team members, they're bored, they're tired, they're worn out. I mean, COVID really took a toll on so many people, but they're looking to exit. They're retiring from something. More successful retirees, they do something very, very different. They aren't looking to retire from something, they're looking to retire to something. What does that look like for you guys today?
I appreciate you asking that because one of the podcasts that you did a couple months ago was, what are you retiring to? And actually, you may have even said that to me as we discussed retirement when I was still thinking about it. And it changed my mindset that as much as I loved my job and what I was doing, what did I want to retire to? And what did I have to look forward to? I think, fortunately, we are still in really good health, so you want to be able to enjoy that. We have 10 grandchildren. I wanted to be able to have more flexibility to enjoy them, which we have, and then travel. So I feel like those three things gave me a lot of comfort as I was making my decision to leave the workplace.
Kind of an exchange of value,
Yes.
really,
Yes.
right? I mean, you had this great identity in the workplace, as you were kind of saying here, but you had this opportunity for a different identity over here from exploring the family life. And man, what a great realization.
Yeah, it really has been great to have that opportunity to do all of that. Yeah, that's been good.
I think for both of us, we just really have a heart for younger kids, younger people, younger married couples. And I say younger, it may even be as old as 40, 45, but they are younger. And we love pouring into them. And this has given us the time to do that. We value our time with them. We feel like they have a lot to offer to us. And we feel like we might have a little something to offer to them. So that's been great. And the 10 grandkids, and they're all under 10 years old. So you think about
Y'all
that.
are busy.
Yeah, we're busy. So you think about having 10 grandkids under 10 years old. They grow up fast. And we're just wanting to get as much out of it as we can because we know those days they're fleeting.
Yeah.
I try not to be offended, but you know what my dad tells me often?
So
If he knew how great grandkids were, he would have skipped me altogether. Like, Dad, that's not how it
I know,
works.
there is some truth to that.
well, I will say this: we are blessed. We've got 4 wonderful children.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. That was a blessing
Yeah.
to come into marriage like that.
So, John and Melanie, we met just over 10 years ago, which is wild.
amazing.
Okay. And so one of the things I'd like to explore is when you were first, interviewing people in the financial services, so from wealth management, financial planning, what were some of the things you were thinking about or looking for as you were exploring that new relationship in your life?
Yeah, I think we were looking for a solid relationship with someone that basically we're giving you everything we have. And we wanted somebody that we could trust, that we could grow with, that we could just basically do life with. And we looked long and hard, and it's we feel very fortunate that we ran across you, and that's been a great relationship. And I can't believe it's been almost 10 years.
I know. It's gone fast.
It's gone fast. Yes, I would echo exactly what he said. And I think we knew that we didn't have the skill set to do it on our own. So it was important that if we were going to be with somebody, it was somebody that we really could trust, and that ended up knowing us, knowing our story, and could appreciate any concerns that maybe that we had for long-term investments. And you guys have been great to really embrace us, because I think we have come in with, okay, what about this? And I think, you even told me years ago, or you told John, you can retire if you want. You could go part-time if you want. And just help me to feel steady about that. And if I didn't have the trust with you, I think I might still be working.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. You just saying that right there made my heart really happy. I mean, because this is a confidence game. And there is
it's totally a confidence game.
Yeah. I mean, there's that element that you have to have some understanding, some level of education about these things to add to the confidence, to build upon the trust. So you do feel that freedom to take the next step in your journey or your adventure, right? We're often spending time together reviewing, retirement accounts and taxes and estate planning and how it all works together. But as we reflect upon like the times we get together for regular reviews and things like that, what would you say is one of the biggest outcomes of our time together that has added to that confidence?
One of the things that jumped to mind is how little I know as a layperson of what you do as far as the tax laws and just all the ins and outs of that. Somebody, you think you can handle this yourself, but you can't. You need an expert. And so my takeaway usually is, wow, I didn't know that. And I sure am glad Nic's handling it and not us.
Same. And as well as after our meeting, every time we meet with you, you're so thorough to discuss what's going on in the world, because as we know, things can get chaotic, and we're in a chaotic time, but you have a great delivery to give us the confidence that we've been here before. I mean, I think you've even taken us back to the 1920s to be able to say, we'll get through this, and for you and your team to manage the money when we are in these chaotic times. Because again, back to us not knowing how to do that we've got the confidence that, you're going to take our investments and put them where you feel like it's safe for whatever is going on. I always leave with the, gosh, I didn't know that, and I'm so glad Nic did when we leave our meetings.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, you guys, what I love about you is you're never shy about asking the questions. Your thirst to want to understand, I think, makes our relationship that much better. It's when somebody is genuinely curious and they want to understand. I think that really creates even more opportunity to build upon your confidence. And I love that about our relationship.
Yes. No, you always appreciate all of my questions. People will tell you I'm a question asker, and I typically don't stop till I get the answer.
And I like the agenda that you come in with.
I do.
Oh, that's good. That's good, guys. Since we've been working together, again, going back a decade now, what would you count as one of your biggest wins since we've been working together?
I would say the growth has been better than I could have ever imagined, because in retirement, it has surprised me. I've cut back a little bit, but I really, I thought, oh gosh, we're not going to be able to go out to dinner, or I'm not going to have discretionary income to shop. And I think you have set us up very, very well for a comfortable lifestyle in retirement. And that has been a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, we never leave asking questions like, gosh, what was he talking about? Or why didn't he tell us this? Or we should have asked that. We feel like that our time together is very thorough. We feel like the information you give us is very clear. It's very directional. We know the direction that we can go in.
Yeah. I did give you a few talking points, as we were going into this, right, this recording. And one thing I didn't add to the list, but I'm going to ask you kind of point blank. It's scary to me that over 90% of the estate plans I review they'll either fail or not work the way clients think they will. And people can't really believe what the real number is. It's probably closer to 95%.
Really.
But one of our passions today is to try to educate people and move them into what we're calling the 10% club. You know, that 10% where you have confidence, you know your estate plan's going to work. And oftentimes in a second marriage, you know, there are some additional nuances and complexities in building the estate plan. Where is your confidence today with your estate plan?
You know, with the market fluctuations that we've had over the course of time, the 10 years that we've been with you, I may be a little different than Melanie, but I've never worried about it. I really haven't, and that's just my personality. And the reason I haven't worried about it is I trust the direction that you guys are moving us in. I mean, that's just point blank. That's where I am with it. Now, Mel, she checks it about every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Make sure it's still there. No, it hasn't gone anywhere. But just the confidence that you've given us over time, that you're watching it, that when the market does drop, it's not like I have to call you up and go, "Hey, Nick, do you know the market dropped?" You know it dropped. Yeah, I just feel good with where we are with you.
I would add to that because we're in the middle of cleaning up our estate plan with you as far as legacy money. What do we need if one of us were to pass? What does that look like living, you know, solo income, solo Social Security? But when we left the last meeting, we had a clear direction, as John has said, every time we leave, clear direction on what we need to think about even longer term. Aaron has provided us with a tool that we can even look out, you know, into our 80s and our 90s and put in their big expenditures, you know, if we were to want to buy another house. And I don't think we'll be buying a second home, but just those kinds of things that could come up for us, that it's helpful to be able to look ahead. So I consider that part of our estate planning long term. And then we, you know, talking about getting our family together so they actually understand what that's going to look like, especially in a combined marriage. We want our kids to know that we are working with you, and what we have and what we leave for them is going to be safe and protected.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you bringing that up, because I think one of the biggest success stories that I see over and over and over again, especially with, you know, the successful middle class, is having that family communication plan, having that family meeting. You know, the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for their children and their children's children. Now, I don't think that was just talking about money. I think it's talking about family name. It's leaving them in a better place and not a worse place. And talk about a worse place, if the estate plan is not buttoned up, if the beneficiaries and the titling aren't matching, you know, the trust and how everything's set up, you're leaving behind chaos and disorder and confusion. And what I love about you guys is you're so coachable. Like, you really take the homework and you take action, and really that next step of that family meeting is really setting up generations, you know, very, very well. And I think also from a biblical perspective, you're honoring God in your finances.
Yeah, when you mentioned that during our last meeting, we left driving in the car going, that's really cool. That and the confidence that we have with bringing our kids in and entering into a conversation with somebody they don't know, but they know that their mom and dad trust them. That was exciting. Yeah. That was exciting. And just and one of the things I love about our time together, a couple of things. You always give us homework. We're not meeting just so you can check it off. It's very intentional. There's a purpose behind it. And we're always looking forward to what's next and what do we need to address.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. If we had not started those kind of conversations regarding beneficiaries and just kind of tying a ribbon around the whole estate, it would have been chaos for us, because I don't know if we would have thought about a number of things that you had brought up. So that's really good.
Well, I can promise you we wouldn't have thought
we wouldn't
any
have.
of the things that you have brought up. I mean, that's why I can't imagine anybody thinking that they have the knowledge to manage their own. Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah. Awesome. Guys, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. And thinking about the idea of having a coach in your corner, many times people can think back to an athletic coach, a PE coach, somebody that was really maybe meaningful in their life. I mean, for me, that was my wrestling coach. I'd say there were 3 mentors in my life: my dad, my youth pastor, and my wrestling coach. But my wrestling coach, man, he just poured so much into me, and it added to, really my self-worth, and also helping me have a vision for my life moving forward. And, I have an expression, winners win, like how are we going to win the day and that kind of thing. But when we think about the idea of your retirement coach, it's really about coaching people to live their best life in retirement, having freedom to, spoil the grandkids, to take the adventures to the Grand Tetons, to do the things, right? To have that confidence that your estate plan's going to work, having confidence that you're legally paying the least amount of taxes possible, but knowing the place to get there. So in your minds today, who do you think would really benefit from working with your retirement coach?
Gosh, I think anybody that is planning on retiring at any point in their life, I mean, whether they're 30, 40, 50, and I would say especially, anybody within the next 15 or 20 years that's looking at it needs to have somebody in their corner to coach them, to help guide them along. Again, I'm looking at my level of understanding. I don't know how anybody does that without having a coach and having somebody that they can find and trust to walk them through. It's not just about where does this pile of money go. It's long-term planning. It's having the estate plan. It's looking at the bigger picture for the next 40 years. So, anyone.
Yeah, I think the question is, who doesn't need one? I can't imagine anybody that wants to retire. They don't have the knowledge that the professionals have, that you guys have, and not to tap into that, I think would be foolish. You're leaving money on the table, so to speak.
Yeah, we don't like that.
No, we
no
don't
lazy
like
dollars.
No.
So, as we're thinking about the next generation, because you brought people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, what's a piece of advice? If you were looking back, what's some advice you wish 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you could have given yourself?
I know I passed this advice on to my kids, and that's start saving early. There's gonna come a time that you will retire and you'll need this. Max out what your employer's contributing to the fund, because that's free money. And just to encourage them to save. And I think that we live in a culture that we spend, and you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you go, I should have saved. And that's just not good.
Yeah.
So I would say start early.
Right.
Yes. And I think the old adage of do you need it or do you want it is helpful for saving. I didn't do that, just to be honest. And it's something more so in retirement that goes through my head. But when you're working, you always think that you have this, disposable income. But I would say take that disposable income and invest it and save it. Yeah.
No, I think both of you have just given really solid advice. I mean, that's great words of wisdom. And I know all of us wish we could have done things different in our 20s and 30s. Like, hindsight, bias, right? It's always 2020 looking in the rearview mirror. But apparently, right now, Suzette, my wife, she's wanting me to have do you need another hat conversation?
It still happens, right? It still happens.
It's either hats or coffee mugs. I don't know why I need them or want them, but I do.
Did we have that conversation a little while ago about shoes?
Yeah, probably.
I'm not stepping on that one, John. John and Melanie, one of the things we love doing is really spending time with our clients. And, I know when we moved from Yeomans Consulting Group to Marietta, some people had questions like, would we still look like the same firm? Would we still have kind of the same experience? Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about what that experience has continued to look like for you.
Yes. When we got the announcement that it was happening, I had concerns. I said, John, do you know anything about merit? What is this going to look like for us and our relationship with Nic and Aaron, mainly because you're the two that we work with mostly, but, for the whole organization, because it has been so relational. And when we met with Aaron right after that, he assured us that nothing was changed, that we were going to still continue to have the relationship, meeting with you, not somebody else, not someone from Merit coming in and taking over our account. And then I specifically asked him, I said, Aaron, do you know if we're going to continue to have the parties? And he most definitely, because it still is going to be that boutique-y community feel. But we have really appreciated that because, yes, we enjoy coming to the office and getting down to business, but we also enjoy being out and just seeing what people are like outside of work, right? I mean, just the community feel and hanging with you guys as well as meeting some of the other clients has been really, really great for us because you have the conversation, well, how long have you been with Yeomans? We just started, but this is how we got to know them. So it's been great. And I have not seen that change because today we had 2 invitations. I think we have an invitation to pickleball and then an invitation to Glover Brewery for tax conversation. So I'm really excited about that. It's staying the same. The name has changed, but the relationship stays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and for our audience, if they don't know, if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And having these events, the coffee with the coach, the beer with the coach, the wine with the coach, the mimosas with the coach, having those experiences where we can get together, enjoy each other's company, build that community. I think that adds to the trust factor as well.
Yeah. Our first meeting when you guys had moved from Yeomans to Merit, like Mel, I came in with questions also. And one of the things that Aaron did a great job with was putting us at ease. When we came with you guys 10 years ago, I never expected to have the relationship that we have today with you guys. And maybe I came in with the wrong mindset, but I just thought you were just guys were going to handle our money and we'd get together every once in a while. But your commitment to your clients has been exceptional. You invest in your clients. I consider you a friend. And I don't know, I certainly didn't go into this 10 years ago thinking that I would have a relationship with the folks that were managing our money like we do today. And I can tell you, I really enjoy it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And because you're a fiduciary, I don't feel like that you're pushing something on us that we don't need. And I really value that.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, guys. Yeah. I mean, you are some of my favorite clients that are in studio right now. I love our relationship, but you guys make it easy to have a really great relationship. You really do.
Thank you.
And I have to ask, you guys are wise. You guys are living life. You're doing things. And I think our audience would value this so much. What is something, a piece of advice maybe, guidance, advice, words of wisdom, you could leave that audience member today they're contemplating retirement. They're thinking about taking the step to clock out for the last time on a Friday and pulling the trigger. What's that one piece of advice you might give them?
I think it's a question that you've asked often is, what are you retiring to? What's next? I mean, I think it would be horrible to go into work on Friday, take your box, load everything up and go home and not know what you're going to. So plan for the future. And I think the encouraging thing that we heard from you is you kind of gave us permission to do it. So my recommendation would be listen to the folks that are handling your funds and trust them.
Yeah. I have nothing to add to that. That was great. Honey,
I'm going to be honest. That was 5 stars.
No, that was great because it covered it all. It covered everything that retirement's about.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for the conversation today.
Thank you.
And really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the conversation. John and Melanie are on a really exciting next adventure. Are you considering your next adventure? Are you ready to retire? Do you know your numbers? Do you need some coaching maybe as to what you're retiring to? Check out the show notes below and reach out. We'd love to have that conversation with you. Until next time, thanks for being here and thanks for staying coachable.
We hope you enjoyed today's show, but you may have questions for our coaches, and they can be emailed at connect@meritfa.com. If you know someone that needs to hear this episode, we encourage you to share it. As a reminder, the content of this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as advice. Investment advice offered through Merit Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor.